Bruce Ratner is a property player. He's developed hundreds of thousands of square feet in New York City, from the New York Times building to the Nets Arena in Brooklyn, set to open next year. He's transformed the cityscape, sometimes controversially. But it's not just New York. Ratner's steering the ship of Forest City Enterprises with offices in 11 cities, including London.
Well, Bruce joins me now. He is the chairman and CEO of Forest City Ratner Cos. He's here for an exclusive interview. Bruce, I always love having you here in the studio.
Well, I always like to be here. Thank you, Betty. Thank you
okay,
very
last
much.
time you were on, I think it was in June, you were saying that New York was holding up better than the rest of the country. We're talking commercial real estate.
Yes, correct.
And residential, I think. Is that still the same situation?
It still is true that commercially we have an 8.2% vacancy rate, down from even a year ago in the commercial area. Residentially, condos are getting absorbed. Rental rates are still holding up. But the but is, over the 2 months since I saw you last, our stock market has gone down 10 or 15%.
Yes.
We have a European crisis that has reared its ugly head again. And people are talking double dip. If we have a double dip, I think New York will not do as well as we did through the last recession. I think we'll still do.
Why do you say that?
Well, because I think the city itself, we've used up a lot of our surplus. You've got a lot of layoffs and so on coming from the banks. Mm-hmm. We're heavily bank oriented. So I think it will not do as well. On the other hand, I think it will continue to do better than the rest of the country. We have diversified our economy, whether it's Google or Bloomberg. These are companies that are not financial service companies. So we have a more diverse economy. I think it'll be okay, but I don't think we'll do quite as well.
Well, I mean, and we've got stories out saying that, in fact, banks are going to be cutting jobs at even a faster pace than they did back in 2008. So that's going to, if that happens, what are we going to see with prices here, and then what are we going to see with vacancy rates then?
It has not yet been announced where these cuts are coming from. It may be that a lot of the cuts come from branches, for example, B of A, that may be branches along the rest of the country.
Right.
So I don't know that it'll be as big an effect as it would have been, say, 5 or 10 years ago.
Okay.
So I don't think you're going to get a big difference in vacancy rates even, unless it depends how dramatic it is. None of us really know. But even if we have a mild double dip, I don't think we'll be badly affected.
Okay, and I think, as I recall, you don't believe we're going to have a double dip recession, right?
I don't think so. Actually, I think we'll muddle through this.
Okay. Let's talk specifically about what is in the press all the time, which is the Atlantic Yards project.
That always makes me smile now. Now
Does
I smile.
It make you smile?
I don't know, 3 years ago if I would have smiled, but I'm smiling now.
Well, but there's still a lot going on, Bruce.
Yes,
you've read the press reports. You still have a lot of opposition groups, obviously, to the Atlantic Yards project. Did you see that documentary, Battle for Brooklyn?
I have not seen it, no. I just read about it. That was enough.
Okay. Are you having trouble getting financing to complete this project, though?
Not really, no. We financed the arena already. That was done a year and a half ago. Our next project is our residential project, our first building. We will get financing for that. It's about 350, 400 units, half middle and affordable, and the rest market rate. And that'll start probably the end of the year, the beginning of next year.
So you're going to start breaking ground at the end of this year?
Or the beginning of next year.
Because you had mentioned also that you're financing. Who are you getting the financing from?
There's 3 or 4 banks that still do financing for rental residential projects. Those banks probably wouldn't lend for condo projects, but they will rent for residential.
Okay. Is it true there are some press reports that the Chinese were interested in perhaps investing as well?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Not in our project that I'm aware of, anyhow.
Okay. The Russian billionaire, though, Mikhail Prokhorov, who obviously has a stake in Barclays Center, but also majority owner of the New Jersey Nets, is he interested still in investing in Atlantic Yards?
He is. We haven't presented him with exactly our first project, and when we do that, he'll make a decision whether he wants to do it or not. He has probably the next 6 months to make that decision.
What's the holdup? Is there any holdup?
No, there's no holdup. We have to really bring it to him. When we've got everything in place, he can make a decision.
Are the reports true that he may be interested in up to a 20% stake in it?
Yes, that's correct. He may be. That is correct.
Okay.
He has a right to take up to 20%, and that's what he may be interested in.
Okay. And the Barclays Center itself, I know it's on track, September 2012.
Yes.
Is this true, that perhaps you might bring a hockey team over to it? The Highlanders?
Well, I would
right
hope so.
this?
I would hope that's possible. You know, it depends upon a lot of things. It depends on whether the Islanders want to come. It depends on whether they have different choices. I think it's not that likely that there will be a new arena built in Nassau County with the current state of the economy. So
Okay.
I think there's certainly a chance.
You're in talks with them, though?
I can't really talk about that.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens.
Ticket sales, what are they like so far in advance for the Barclays Center?
Ticket sales are actually very strong. We started selling about 3-4 months ago with our all-access passes. We're about 30% of the way through where we want to be. We're 10% ahead of our schedule. Our tickets went on sale in June for our little bit more expensive seats, and in about 4 months, our general admission seats and our other seats will go on sale.
Okay. Bruce, just before I let you go, I'm just curious. I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but I was kind of
spot.
I was joking a little bit about, the critics on the opposition group. So they have been very serious about, obviously with the Atlantic Yards project. You've been called, several names by them.
Yes.
I may not repeat them, but that they're
it's okay.
They're they've been pretty harsh. Has it been worth it to your reputation to do this project, to do Atlantic Yards?
Yes, very much so. I don't even hesitate about that. I think it's the right thing. It's a civic project. It's going to bring basketball. It's going to bring circuses, boxing, entertainment, and most importantly, housing and jobs. And you know what? My reputation for the people who know me stays, I hope, positive. Those who don't will have to make up their choice. But on the other hand, it's not a popularity contest. It's a contest of seeing that you're doing right, and I think we're doing right.
Okay, Bruce, great to have you with me.
Thank you, Betty. Always a pleasure. Thank you.